New to Medicare? Go to myhealthpolicy.com. With myhealthpolicy.com, you can compare plans from some of the nation's top insurers. Start now to find a plan and apply online. myhealthpolicy.com makes it easy to find a Medicare Advantage plan in your area, including plans for $0 a month in plan premiums, low out-of-pocket costs, and expansive provider networks.
My decision, my Medicare. myhealthpolicy.com.
Hello and welcome to Audiogyan, Theoretical Design and Practical Design, Gyan with Sharad Patwardhan. Sharad Patwardhan is one of the coolest teachers in the field of design. He has actually devoted his life to teaching. Professionally an architect and also a teacher with an experience of more than 4 decades. Currently he teaches in Applied School of Arts, Mumbai and does freelance work as an interior designer and architect. Sharad Kaka is responsible for a few mainstream restaurants in Mumbai like Gypsy. He loves Hindustani classical and old Bollywood music. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on Audiogyan. Our main discussion today will be around theoretical design and practical design. The first question which I have is how long have you been teaching? Why do you think teaching design is important?
Thank you, Kedar. I have been teaching since, say, my student era. When I was a student, my mechanics was bit good than other students, so I used to teach them mechanics. And then I realized that teaching is in my blood because my all forefathers, my father, my uncle, my aunts, all are in teaching field. So I felt that that is in my blood. And then I took interest in teaching and now it became my passion. I love teaching. And I feel that everyone has something unique in his blood. So he must teach that thing to other person. Anything, right from music to just to fold a paper to make a nice origami art.
Why do you think teaching design is very important?
See, design, if I try to put in definition as such, I look at a design is a strong desire to achieve a goal. So to achieve that goal, there are various ways and at right moment to choose right way. For example, in a city like Mumbai, in the business hours, evening time or peak time, if someone tells me how to reach fast from Regal Cinema or from Kolaba to Churchgate Station in peak hours, I may tell him that you run and then only you will reach before a taxi or a scooter or a motorbike. Because design, there are ways. You can go by taxi, you can go by scooter, but time, that is important. And that is why I said design is a strong desire to achieve a goal. And to reach to that goal, there are various aspects that we have to teach students. That is why theory is most important in design. But practical aspects are totally depending upon the situation around you and your client.
So how do you see design? I mean, what's your philosophy? Like any particular school of design you follow?
I look at the design in a very simple way that it must be comfortable to human being. That's all. No hanky-panky things, no hi-fi things, no jazzy things. Simple living. Person should feel to come home after he is tired from his work. अरे क्या यार, घर में जाने के बाद भी साला दुनिया का झमेला सब इतना हेवी कुछ किया है. अगर something like that, if someone gives that opinion, I think that is not a design. That is a compromise on design.
One question which I had was, what should you learn when you are in any design school?
Frankly speaking, I learned that I have not learned anything. Because what we taught in college or school, it is totally different from the practical. Very sorry to say, but our academic, as far as school is concerned, is raat gayi, baat gayi, khaya piya, raj kiya. Student doesn't even know, a 10th standard student doesn't even know what is 90-degree angle. Whatever we have learned since my college days, we have learned nothing. We have learned whatever we have learned in practice. Okay. So that is why I sincerely feel every student of interior design or rather creative field, he must work somewhere. Then only he will get practical knowledge, which is again going parallel to theory. Theory and practical go hand in hand, but they don't tell us how. That is the drawback in our education field.
Actually, this brings to the next point, which was I remember me discussing with you long time back about horizontal and vertical lines, and the kind of question you asked me had put me in a fix that yeah, I think like I really don't understand that well. And as you mentioned that like 10 standard students still don't know what is 90 degree. So if I have to ask you like just a simple question, like what do you mean by a horizontal or a vertical line? How would you explain it to your students?
To me, it's a very important thing that you must know the definition in this field. Since you are in this field of interior design, you must know the meaning or a definition of each and every word. For example, when we say straight line, then what is straight line? Simple, in simple terms, it's a moving point without changing its direction. That is a straight line. Moment it changes its direction, it is not a straight line. That can be zigzag, that can be curved, that can be dotted, that can be crooked, anything, but not a straight line. Now, since you ask me what is horizontal, so that word itself has derived from horizon, a line or a straight line which is parallel to earth plane, that is horizontal, and a line which is perpendicular, that is at 90 degree to horizontal line, is vertical. Or other lines, straight lines, are perpendicular to each other. When we say when we say vertical, it is always perpendicular to horizontal line.
Interesting. The next is what are the two main qualities which you think can make a student confident to step into design as a career?
He must have, apart from creativity, observation, keen observation, and he must take common sense with him always. Usually, what happens with students that they keep their common sense at their house, and then they go on doing what we call as a shabby design. Entire any field you take of a design, it is totally based on common sense. For example, you take specs, you will find thousands or maybe millions of designs in spectacles or goggles. They have worked in such a way that common sense they have used, it should rest on your nose and your ears. That is the basic thing they keep in mind. As simple as that, design is based on common sense, and for that you need observation and then creativity.
Now, since you've been like teaching for almost 4 5 decades, you must have seen like a great transition in the computer age which has come now. So, what do you think is the yin and yang, or probably the advantages or disadvantages of the computer age, especially in the field of design?
Yes, there are advantages that you can get results very fast or you can set your design very fast. But secondly, slowly you are losing your imagination, creativity. For example, now you have to work out a color scheme with the computer 3D Max or Photoshop and XYZ software. They just apply the colors. They don't visualize or they don't try to visualize. In our days, we used to take, मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना ये अच्छा दिखेगा मतलब अच्छा दिखेगा, and client is to rely upon us. Nowadays, it is not happening because everyone is relying upon a computer. And then, secondly, you lose your hand. See, making a drawing with hand manually, that is the identity. In office now, if I leave any office or organization, even after 5 years, yes, this is the drawing made by Patwardhan, this is the drawing made by XYZ. That identity we are losing. All now architectural or interior drawings are mechanical. There is no heart or there is no soul in it. That's what I feel. That is the biggest disadvantage of computer.
The next one is how do you teach your students attention to detail?
I won't say it's a critical, but detail. So there are some techniques for doing furniture or making cladding or what we call as a tiling on wall. There are certain techniques. We tell them techniques, and they should use that techniques based on their design. So design comes first, detailing comes later. So usually what happens with students, they consider design as a different subject and working drawing or a detailing is a different subject. No, as far as interior or architecture field is concerned, all our subjects are go hand in hand. That's what I sincerely feel.
So I would like to know what are your thoughts on like doing research before getting on to a particular client. For example, especially in these days, like people want fast output. So how do you balance between how much research you do on a particular client or a project and how much execution?
Just before that, I said ki you require observation. That observation is a part of research. And you have to study human being not from the point of mathematics or science. उसका हाथ इतना लंबा है, पैर इतना लंबा है, बैठने के बाद ये होता है, height ये होती है. Not that. Human being is character. For example, in any Gujarati house, if you want to make a kitchen, and if you don't provide them a domestic floor meal, जो वो लोग बोलते हैं घरघंटी, then you are fail. That Gujarati lady will say, अरे आपको मालूम नहीं हमारे घर में घंटी लगती है. For South Indian, ragda is must. So these peculiarities you must keep. That for that you need observation, and I can say that is a part of a research. First of all, you have to study human being. Once you do the human being, you need not research, because research हम लोग ना वो बहुत जो होशियार लोग हैं ना उनके लिए छोड़ देते.
One more thing which I wanted to ask you was, at what time or what time in your career, typically, so I'm not including people who are who have really extraordinary capabilities. Typically, a person getting into design, what kind of time frame one can expect to see a breakthrough in his work? How many years of practice, or how many, like, is there any parameter to gauge that yes, now it's a time that I can have some breakthrough work in my life?
As I said, practical field is very different from academic, and we have never taught what exactly requires in. So one must work in office at least for 4 years, to gain practical knowledge. And once you have got a good rapport with your client, when you feel that client is dependent upon me, then you can think of doing a individual job or individual practice. That can be, you can start with a very small. There is no need of office also as such. Just a one table and your soul for the work. That's all.
That's really inspiring. Can you share some of the radical things which you did with your students to understand design better? Like some stories which you actually like experience or you did with your students.
For this, it's a bit difficult to explain, because usually when I give examples, or when I make maskari, what we call in Marathi or Hindi, then for that you need a chalk and board. But yes, interior, while teaching, you must be very jolly with students. You have to become of their age. One thing I can tell, कि who is a true teacher, that I can tell you. Who is a true teacher? वो जो आदत होती है ना टीचर्स को कि यार तू गधा है, तुमको इतना कुछ आता नहीं है, ये बोलना छोड़ दो. Don't say student like that, because if someone stands up in the class and said, yes sir, I am gada, but now it's in your hand to make me a man. So are you capable of that? Think that, and then behave with student. That's what I feel. But if I have to give you some incidences or किस्से जिसको बोलते हैं, it's very difficult to tell in this interview. For that, actually, we need some video conferencing, or I need some students in front of me. Then it's very easy for me to explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for example, you had told me once that you actually just got like everyone in your class, you started asking them like start measuring the room, right. Or probably you took every boy to a female bathroom to show how it is designed, or right. Girls to some sort of anything you remember from there?
Yeah, simple thing I remember is that if I tell them, see, there is a measurement tape. I tell everyone that get a measurement tape with you every time. So very, very rarely I find a smartness in the student. If I ask them, okay, you know what is the formula to convert 5 feet into centimeter? Yes, sir, I know. Then tell me how many centimeters for 5 feet? How much? So then they will start taking out their calculators and calculating. Simply pull out the tape and see that measurement parallel to 5 feet, whatever, 150 or 151 centimeter. But then I tell them कि ये है ना common sense जो आप घर में छोड़ के आए हो ना वो लेके आओ तो ही बनेगी बात. That is what I call a common sense you must carry with you every time. That is one of the incidents. There are a lot of incidents. If you meet me in person, yes, definitely I can tell you at least 50. At least 50.
Wow, that's nice. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sharad Kaka, for being on the show. I hope we do a second part of this as well.
One more thing I
Yeah.
would like to tell. For all designer student, design field, anyone, any design field, that can be architecture, interior, or maybe something related to other garments or maybe shoes, anything which is related to design, they must have some another hobby like music, dance, or roaming around on cycle or maybe bike, or what we call that not trekking, what is that?
Trekking,
Hiking,
hiking,
trekking, or certain hobby has to be there which will give you a peace of mind when you are exhausted. That's what I feel. And music is, according to me, music is one of the best.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that's all from this week from Sharad Patwardhan. Stay tuned for more Gyan next week on Audiogyan. Thank you.
We've all been forced to pause, reset, and reclaim our futures in light of the chaos of 2020. There's always darkness in adventure when you're not sure where you're going, but even the smallest bit of light can illuminate our paths. It can inspire us, show us the next step, give us a glimpse of where God is moving. Join us for a 40-minute stream service each week at sparktalks.net to hear from people who will share what they've learned so far in 2020 and challenge you with new ideas to ignite your life.